Good morning from a stoplight. I'm cracking open a sparkling iced caffeine because I need it. It is the 28th of July, you guys. And we are going to start a tracking challenge. August 1st. Track every day. Stay within your calories, your points, your carbs, whatever you're doing out there. I don't care what you're doing. But I'm going to try to check in with you guys on an almost daily basis. There may be some days I don't make it, so, but I'm going to try to do sort of like a Veda thing, which is vlog every day in August, but it's not really going to be a vlog. Well, I don't know if it's going to be I don't know. We're going to do some sort of check-in. So we may do some lives, we may do some vlogs. The idea is you will check in below. So I'll post the video, and then you're going to tell me if you stayed on track or not. Accountability, guys. So if you're in, every time I hit a bump, this thing, I'm going to have to replace it soon. I get my car mount for $5 at Big Lots, and it seems like every year it ends up dying. That's what you get for $5. Let's talk about getting bored a little bit. I've been thinking a lot about this, and I wonder, I have not done any research, but I wonder if one of the reasons we have trouble staying on one specific plan is we get bored. And the reality is, if you're going to change to a healthy lifestyle and lose some weight, you have to be consistent with what you're doing. And I wonder if human beings, especially in this day and age, because think about how, I almost said ADD, and I'm not diagnosing us with attention deficit disorder, because that's a difficult thing to live with. I have friends and I have patients that live with that. But I think our society feels that way sometimes because we have instant access to everything. We're used to multitasking. We're watching TV, we're on our phones, we're eating, we're doing all of these things at one time instead of picking one thing and just sort of sitting with it. I think there has to be some truth to this idea of jumping from plan to plan and that being associated with our society today, and the fact that it's really hard to hold our attention. I remember back in the old days when I was doing Weight Watchers, it was boring. It was boring. Not in a bad way. Some things can be like slow paced and non-stimulating and be very healthy and good for us. We had our little trackers. We had our little recipe books. Even when it first went online, the initial online trackers were boring. You didn't have all of these groups. The message boards were boring compared to what we have today. I just wonder, if we've trained our brains to jump from thing to thing so much now that it's very hard for us to stay on one track for very long. And the reason I've been thinking about this is I've been tracking in Lose It, and I still get very tempted to track in other apps or go back to WW or go back to paper tracking or it's like my brain just sort of jumps around to all these different, it's like we have too many possibilities, honestly. And then we're bombarded as well with other possibilities. I can't tell you how many times I've gone on Instagram, and as I'm looking at my friends over there and what they're posting, I'm seeing ads for Noom and WW and all these other, a million different other plans. If you go on YouTube like you are right now, there's ads for a million different things. So we're constantly being poked and prodded by our culture. Change, 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 change. And I think that there is a point where you just have to pick something and really commit on a daily basis. I think I talked about this a couple of years ago. I don't know when I last mentioned this. But really waking up in the morning and having that healthy rhythm and starting with that, which is not immediately going to your phone and turning your brain on, but waking up and, for me, it's prayer and then thinking about today and what I'm really committed to. And there are several things in my life that I sort of have to daily choose for myself. I choose to track my food, whether it's on paper, it's in an app, it's calories, it's points, whatever it is, I am choosing that for today. And that's a choice I have to make all day long, right? I choose to be married to my husband and treat him with respect and kindness and love. I choose to do the laundry. There's just so many things. And really looking at your day and saying, what can I do today that is going to advance this goal of being a healthy person holistically, and how can I break that down into smaller pieces for myself? Today I woke up, my office was in a disaster. I am having a hard time with my mental health right now. I'm having a lot of anxiety. I am attributing it to a high stress level and then also like hormonal changes, but I've had a couple of panic attacks recently and it's interfering with different aspects of my life. It's just interfering with some stuff. So this morning when I woke up, I'm like, what can I do to feel less anxious? Well, I rubbed myself down with some lavender oil, first of all, because I woke up at 5 a.m. with my brain just racing. So I put some lavender on. I did not get on my phone. I put my phone down because that was a temptation for me, was to start scrolling. I put my phone down and I went back to sleep for about an hour. That was very helpful. And then this morning I'm like, what do I need to do to not feel so cuckoo? Me and my cuckoo. And it was, okay, let's do some self-care here. I need to pray. I need to sort of plot out my day. I need to clean my office up. I need to make some phone calls. I need to tidy up the bathroom. And, it was just like a few things I needed to do. I needed to catch up on some charting. I needed to get some emails done. And, I have my healthcare enrollment that I have to do by the end of the month. I needed to email about that. Things like that. Clearing those off my desk. Making sure that I get my shower every day. And I put makeup on, you guys. And a lot of that is just a self-care thing. It's like my fingernails. It sounds really silly, and it is. But it's part of me feeling like feeling put together so I can conquer and tackle the things I need to tackle. It's just all these little components. They can seem very overwhelming. But I was sitting there this morning doing a little bit of reading. I like to do just a little bit of reading at the beginning of the day, usually from the Eastern Orthodox Church Fathers or some scripture or something. But I came across an article that I read a long time ago that I did a talk on that really impacted me at the time, and I needed to be reminded this morning. But the phrase that was being used in the article, and you'll see this all over, you can Google this if you want more information, is do the next right thing. And I think that we're so overwhelmed in life with choices and plans and ideas and oh, I'm doing this thing, but this seems to be working better for somebody else, and comparison and all of that, that we need to shrink our horizons down and be present in this moment. Put the phone down, okay? Turn YouTube off, but not until I'm done talking to you. And do the next right thing. And if you don't know what the right thing is, this is where you ask for wisdom, okay? You need to have those trusted people. I don't care if they're online, if it's your, pastor or counselor or best friend or your mom or your, the lady next door or whoever it is. When the question comes up, okay, what do I need to do next? What's the next right thing to do for yourself? And I think that this holds true with when we're tracking and making food choices. To take that pause, especially when we're craving and wanting the things that we know don't serve us, and say, okay. There's all this noise. I want M&Ms. I want cake. I want fried chicken. Whatever. Okay. What's the next right thing for me? Sometimes it is, I really would like some chocolate. I think that would satisfy my craving, and then I could just be done with it instead of not having it and thinking about it for a week. Do you see what I'm saying? There are situations that I have at work that are very challenging, that are long-term and ongoing. And when I'm with a patient and we have all this noise and all this stuff happening, a lot of times it's just pulling it down to, okay, what does the next right step look like for you? And I think it was very helpful for me to hear that today and to remember there are lots of options out there, and a lot of the options are great options, okay? What is wisdom? What is your heart telling you? What do you need to do next? For me, I just need to be tracking. I don't really even think it matters the plan, as long as I'm staying on track with whatever I'm doing. I used to always be like, I want to do it this way, and this is how I want to lose weight. And I think that heart's desire and how I want to do it is important. I think it's important to pick something that you want to do and not be so influenced by what everybody else is doing. I have a lot of friends out there that you're doing old Weight Watcher plans, or you're doing Noom or something, or you're doing MyFitnessPal, and you like it, so stick with it, and make that decision every day, that commitment to stick to it in the morning. And then during the day, when you have those temptations and you have those moments of, what do I do? Take a pause and say, okay, what is the next right thing for me to do? So I am utilizing that. I did a talk at the seminary. So my husband went to seminary for his Master's of Divinity up in New York. And so we were there for 3 years, and then they invited me back to talk a couple of times. In fact, they invited me back to talk last spring, right before COVID hit, so we had to cancel that. But this is something that I talked about, was doing the next right thing. And I even passed out magnets with that little phrase on it. So if you need to go that direction, I think I went on Zazzle and made magnets that just said, do the next right thing. Some people just shorten and say, do the next thing. Sometimes it's like, well, it's not really about whether it's right or wrong. It's what I gotta do. So sometimes you're like, I'm so overwhelmed. Okay, what's the next thing to do? What do I need to do next? And sometimes it's the laundry or scrubbing the floors or whatever. So I don't know that you always have to have some sort of like prioritization or morality attached to it. but a lot of times you do. You know, especially when you know, if I eat this entire chocolate cake, that's really not the right thing for me. I was watching some guy on YouTube yesterday that had challenged himself to eating 50,000 calories in a day, which to me brings up a lot of moral, ethical questions. Like, number one, that just seemed, oh, anyway, it was, I felt very judgmental, like, watching it, so I ended up turning it off, because I was like, I know he's doing this for views and for likes and as his job, but to me, it seems like not the right thing to do. But anyway, I know I'm not going to be eating 50,000 calories today. So if we just internalize it ourselves and not look so much at what other people are doing and just say, well, what am I doing? I choose not to utilize that approach for YouTube views and likes. And I hope he's okay, because I think you could probably kill yourself doing that. All right, guys. So, tracking challenge starting August the 1st. And I will be checking in with you all. So I need a commitment. Post down below. If you post down below, that means you're going to be checking in with me. And I think that's important, to have a place that you can just go, hey, I did it. We used to do this over on Facebook. Facebook has gotten really overwhelming to me right now because I am having a lot of anxiety related to job, work-life balance, stress. I'm just very, very stressed out. And the way that I take care of that is, number one, I get back to that healthy rhythm, getting back into prayer, having quiet time, putting the social media aside a little bit, and then activating self-care. Activate your self-care. What does that look like? Man, this morning I really had to come to Jesus about what my self-care looks like, because the temptation was for me to call in sick today, like mental health day, and get back in bed and ignore all of it. You guys, when you do that, it's still going to be there. And sometimes you do need a mental health day. Maybe you need to schedule one for yourself. My boss would be, if I called her and say, I have to have a day off, I'm losing it. That is absolutely acceptable in my position. I have the time off. I'm a good employee. That doesn't mean that the work would just go away. In fact, I think it would be more stressful tomorrow. So, a little come to Jesus, a little texting with one of my good friends at work. She just is my go-to person at work of just, both of us, freaking out. And sometimes, listen, misery loves company. I'm telling you, sometimes, even though you don't want other people to be stressed out, train tracks, even though you don't want other people to be stressed out, when you're stressed, sometimes it's like having someone to commiserate and then both of you talking about how you're going to manage it is very helpful. All right, stay in orbit out there. Drop me a commitment below if you would like to do this with me. I'm really going to commit and be accountable for August. I think it would be very helpful. So, and I would love to have friends out there who are in the same mindset. We're sharing a mindset and a motivation and a commitment together. So I loves it. Bye, y'all. See you later.